Okay, welcome. So today we're doing Q&A. So it's October 15th. Um, and I'm answering questions. I believe Sarah's the only one who submitted questions. So let me get those up. Sorry for the delay. I just wanted to make sure that I'm trying a different streaming service here. So I have not yet used it before, so I'm still trying to figure out the glitches. Let me make sure, see how this works. Give me 1 second. Okay, it's going everywhere. Perfect. Okay, so here's what we're going to review. It is public for now. Drop in the comments where you're tuning in from. I got to figure out, ladies. So for those ladies who are in group coaching, I got to figure out how to make it private, but I haven't quite figured that out yet. But I will. Okay, so I'm not going to say any. This is just a general answer to a question, and so basically, I ask you guys every month to send me your charts. I need to see your basal body temperature charts. I need to see what is going on with your cycle. And so here are the biggest things that I need you to understand about sending your charts and taking your basal body temperature. So first things first, okay. There are some, okay, so your doctors have tests that they want to run for you in order to find out what type of hormonal imbalances that you have. So your doctor may say, hey, if you go to your doctor and say, hey, I'm trying to get pregnant, nothing's happening, I don't know why, they're probably going to run a whole bunch of tests on you to find out what could possibly be the issue. So taking your basal body temperature is essentially a cheat code to find out, do I have some type of hormonal imbalance? Because when you take your basal body temperature, the biggest three things that you need to be looking for are these: the length of my follicular phase, my fertile window, which includes the day of my ovulation, and then the length of my luteal phase. Knowing the amount of days in your follicular and your luteal or luteal phase, as I'm hearing people say it now, knowing the difference and the number of days that you have in each of those phases. So when you go to the doctor and they ask you, and you tell the doctor, hey, I want to know, do I have any hormonal imbalances? And you're trying to figure out, what is the reason why I'm not getting pregnant? One of the ways that you can find out on your own at home if you have a hormonal imbalance is knowing the length of your follicular phase and knowing the length of your luteal phase. Okay. And then also knowing what is your fertile window, which includes ovulation. When you are trying to find out if you're imbalanced, you want to understand that the lengths of your phases are what tell you if there's a progesterone issue, if there's an estrogen issue, if there's an LH or FSH issue. So yes, there are some very expensive tests that your doctor can run that will tell you about your progesterone, that'll tell you about your estrogen, your LH, and your FSH. I even have tests that I can recommend that you take as well. But say you're on a budget, or say you not really, feeling doctors right now, whatever your reason may be, know that if you take your basal body temperature consistently for at least 2 months, you will be able to see what your average luteal phase and average follicular phase are. So that way you can tell off that if you have a hormonal imbalance. But here's the key to it. In order for you to get the proper amount of days that you have and your temperatures to be accurate, You have to take them at the same time every day. Okay, the same time every day. Now they do have different thermometers, like temp drop is one of them, where you can put it on your arm, and like overnight it'll give you an average of your temperatures through the night, which is not the exact same, but it's close enough to give you like the length of your luteal and follicular phase. But this is what you have to understand. If you do not take your temperatures at the right time, I'm not talking about the temp drop, but if you're using the standard basal body thermometer, the ones that I send my clients, a good one, the ones that I send cost about $40. There's some cheaper ones you can find other places, but I like the ones that are Bluetooth, so it syncs with an app. But you have to take it the same time within a 30-minute window every day. Otherwise, the temperatures you're taking don't give me any information. So for my clients, when I'm asking you to send me your charts with your thermometers, your temperatures, when I'm asking you to send me your charts with your temperatures, if you have not been taking them at the same time within a 30-minute window, after at least being in the bed for 4 hours straight, and taking it as soon as you wake up without doing a whole bunch of movement and doing the matrix, waking up, jumping up, you just have to slowly grab your thermometer, put it in your mouth, take it. So if you're not doing that, the temperatures that you send me give me absolutely no information at all. So for those who have sent in their questions for me to review your charts, there's nothing for me to review until your temperatures are taken at the same time. They don't tell you any information because they're totally inaccurate. So I just want to make sure that everyone understands that there's no need for you to take your temperature if you're not taking it at the right time, because there's nothing for me to be able to even analyze without the proper timing. The key to it is taking it at the right time. This is why companies like Temp Drop exist, for those who are like, I can't do that, but I can remember to put a band on my arm, and you sync it, it starts working, and then in the morning you sync it again, and it'll tell you what your average temperature was. This is essential. Now, a lot of you already have test results, so you already know that I have some type of imbalance. So it's not just the imbalance, but sometimes your doctor could be missing something. I know that I have heard several stories from people who are clients or associates of mine who there's things that the doctors just overlooked, or maybe for some reason the test was a fluke and it was wrong, or was taken at the wrong point in your cycle. And then you come to realize, like, wait a minute, if this is a backup. So yes, get the testing done with your doctor. But if you either don't want to go to the doctor, or you want to double check on the test results that you got from your doctor, then taking your basal body temperature consistently for 2 to 3 months, and knowing exactly how many days are in your follicular phase, how many days are in your luteal phase. So that way you are not wasting time when you could be addressing the lack thereof of your estrogen, of your progesterone, your LH, FSH. Like if you know your luteal phase is too short, you could begin using your progesterone. You don't have to just, okay, well, I know it's short, but now what? So the point of taking your basal body temperature or getting hormonal testing done is to identify where there's a hormonal imbalance, and then changing it with lifestyle changes or with a supplement. So there are supplements I will recommend, for progesterone, and there are supplements I recommend depending on what your issue is. So don't ever feel like, okay, well, I got the results, then what? And this is why it's truly important. It's truly important to make sure that you understand your follicular phase is the first half of your cycle. It needs to be about 12 to 14 days to be healthy. And same with your follicular, with your luteal phase, it needs to be about 12 to 14 days. So let me say that again. It is important to understand the different phases of your cycle, because this is how you know. If you never go to a doctor, you can find out that you have a hormonal imbalance by just taking your basal body temperature for the next 2 to 3 months. You want to see, is the first half of my cycle, which is my follicular phase, from the day of my first period, the day I'm first bleeding on my period, up until the day that I ovulate. That is your follicular phase. And from the day after you ovulate till the day before your next period is your luteal phase. If you just do that for 2 to 3 months without going to the doctor, you will know if you have a hormonal imbalance based on it being too short on the front end or too short on the back end. Having it too short on the front end could indicate early menopause, perimenopause. And so there's some different things and techniques that we need to work on consistently in order to extend that. If it's too short on the back end, that's usually low progesterone, and maybe the reason why you have recurrent miscarriages, or either your luteal phase isn't even long enough for you to ever get pregnant because of the way your body sheds before there's time for implantation. So this is so important. This is the part that, people just, oh, well, just tell me what to take. Okay, well, I can't tell you what to take until I know your cycle inside and out. And you should know it too. You should understand this. You want the first half of your cycle to be 12 to 14 days to be optimal, and the same for the second half. 12 days is on the shorter side for luteal phase. It could be 14 days, it could be 18 days, and you could still get pregnant. So it's so important that you take your basal body temperature, you take it at the right time, you take it every day. If you have trouble waking up the same time every day, or you're like, no child, when I want to sleep in, I want to sleep in, and you're good with that, then make sure you get something like temp drop. So that way you don't have to worry about waking up at the same time. You just need to get at least 4 hours of sleep for it to be able to calculate and tell you what your basal body temperature is. This is how you can avoid going to the doctor just for them to tell you whether your hormones are imbalanced. Yes, you can go to the doctor and you can take a test, but you want to make sure you understand your body. So when you go in there and they're telling you stuff about yourself or about your body, that you're not just like, oh, well, I was just going off what they said, instead of truly understanding what your body is saying. Your body is talking to you. The question is, are you listening? Your body is trying to tell you, hey, you don't have enough time in the second half of your cycle to get pregnant, or your second half of your cycle is lacking so much of a hormone. This is why you're constantly miscarrying. Or the first half of your cycle is too short for all the things that have to take place before ovulation to even occur. So if you don't know these things, you could be trying and having a regular period month after month after month and thinking, why am I not getting pregnant? When in reality, your body is clearly speaking what the issue is by having one of your phases be too long, too short, and you could be having a regular period every month. Your hormones could still be imbalanced. And so I want to make sure that you totally understand that, so that you don't waste any more time taking any more tests or having any more heartaches every single month, when there's a solution that you just didn't even know you're supposed to be looking for that solution. So I hope that helps. You can drop your questions if you have anything. Thank you for the hearts. If you have any questions for those who are part of the coaching program, please drop them to clarify that. Because I did get one person who sent me their charts, but based on the chart, it's inaccurate, so it won't provide any information. I do want to see y'all's charts every month, okay? So y'all know we go live every Tuesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that means that I need your questions submitted Mondays by 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, because I like to have a full 24 hours to read your questions, pray about it, go reference any books or research or anything. I like to be able to fully prepare for your questions. I could answer them on the spot, but I think that you've invested in help, and I want to make sure you get a thorough answer that actually helps you. Okay. So I think that's all that we have for today. I didn't see any other questions come in, but just make sure that you understand the key hormones that you are looking for when you're taking your basal body temperature are your progesterone levels, which are in the second half of your cycle, the luteal phase. It's produced by the corpus luteum after ovulation, and it prepares the uterine lining for potential implantation. A short luteal phase indicates insufficient progesterone most of the time, okay? Estrogen levels fluctuate throughout the cycle and can influence the length of your luteal phase as well. So if it's too high or too low, that is definitely going to affect your luteal phase, which again, if you don't have time for implantation, then you cannot get pregnant that month. And so this helps put you in perspective. If you're like, wait, I've been trying for a year, nothing happened. But then you figure out my luteal phase was only 10 days. Now I know I'm not getting pregnant. You could simply add progesterone and it'll probably lengthen your phase, and that could be it. You know, there might be other things, but that's just an example of how simple sometimes things can be. And then LH and FSH, these hormones, they regulate ovulation, but they can be affected by stress, weight changes, and health conditions. So yes, I'm always down for like, hey, team plus size. It's okay. You can still have your healthy baby and be plus size. But when your weight quickly fluctuates, it makes it harder for your hormones to stay in balance. So losing weight too quick or either gaining weight too quick, either one of them can throw your hormones out of whack. So you got to really make sure that you are eating for fertility and not for weight loss. Those are not the same. Okay. You can lose weight, but that does not mean you lose it in a way that still keeps your hormones in harmony. All right. So thank y'all again for tuning in. That's all we have for today. I will send the replay out in the band group. And if you are watching and you are interested in working with me, please fill out an application at thefertilitycheatcode.com. Just fertilitycheatcode.com. If you want to work with me, you can fill out an application at fertilitycheatcode.com. And I also have a free masterclass coming up this Sunday. So if you want to know more details about how I can help you, make sure that you are registered for that. And you can get that at fertilityfreak.com. All right. So fertilitycheatcode.com if you're like, I'm ready to work, and fertilityfreak.com if you want to join the free masterclass. All right. Love y'all so much, and I'll see you next week.